It's Sunday, September 10th, 2023, and I was trying to think of something to talk about for recording a short. And everything that I could think of was stuff that I'd thought of before, and none of which I could really talk about in a short amount of time. And a lot of it I didn't feel comfortable talking about because people might watch. And even though most of the people that end up watching any of my stuff, especially the shorts, are just strangers who may never have seen anything of mine before and may never again. It's like, still, it's being seen, and I just never know who's watching. Could be anybody. And whatever video I end up putting out there might be the video that somebody sees for the first time that actually has some degree of separation to somebody I know. And I just need to remember that this is public, and I try to be as considerate as I remember to be and sensitive as I can, because I never know who's watching, which can be intimidating and inhibiting, but it's probably just for the best, instead of just letting myself go uncensored, just those little mental checks and balances. And it's probably from, my own safety and, precautions as well. Don't need to be too careless or frivolous with my information. So, anyway, fall appears to be in the swing of things, and this is the population fluctuates between the summer months and the rest of the year. So a lot of the population has returned, and so there's a little bit more activity at night, especially on the weekends. So it's a little bit noisy, and the internet is a little bit more crowded. You can feel it with as far as like download rates and upload rates, because there's more people trying to access the same amount of transfer and stuff like that. And so anyway, today was just a standard Sunday for me at work, and it went pretty smooth. I didn't have any major difficulties, just the same old minor ones that I usually am pretty familiar with, but still bother me. I'll never get used to some of the things that always kind of sensory aggravate me. Best I can do is just try not to notice them, but once I've noticed them, it's hard for me to not notice them. I'm thinking about sounds, and then there's another, I also have some olfactory triggers as well, or triggers to like things that bother me, and it's no one's fault or responsibility to be sensitive to all of my quirks, but I was thinking about how like some people wear on purpose certain colognes or perfumes or deodorants or body sprays that I just find terrible. And they wear them in such a concentration that you can tell when they've been anywhere in the area, and you could probably follow them around even though you've never seen them. It's like, well, they went this way. Oh, I missed. And then you could track them through. I've never tried, but it's like just a little, funny thought to me that I could probably, but when they're actually around and you can see them, I try to avoid them, and because it's not a bad smell, I guess, maybe, but I don't like it, and but they apparently do, and maybe no one else has said anything. Maybe it doesn't bother anybody else, but anyway. So not only do I have some sounds that are constantly going, in the overnight hours, music that I can't escape. And some of it's not bad, but some of it is. And then the smells, and then there's just things bother me, and there's nothing I can do about it. I could always change jobs or things like that, but there'd always be something. The world does not so much accommodate me as I must be more flexible and versatile and accommodate the world, especially sometimes people in their emotional states. And because I have difficulty reading and interpreting other people's emotional states. And, I tend to, and I know this, but I don't have a good solution about it or workaround. I tend to think that people might be angry at me quite a bit. And it's for like just my sense of, it's like, I've done something wrong, or I've missed a social cue, or I've said something that could have been taken badly, and maybe they took it this way, or maybe they took it that way, or they thought I was being this way, or I don't know. And then I fall silent, and then I think that maybe that they think that I'm angry at them. And then they get angry at me for possibly being angry at them, because they don't know why I would be angry at them and why I'm not talking. And and then I just get confused, and I'll just stay silent until I have reason to say anything that requires communication, and that could be a while. I can get through an entire workday without feeling like I need to talk or communicate anything. I just work autonomously and independently, and I rarely need to say something. But sometimes when it's been too long and I can tell that the other person, at least it feels like the other person is like unsure of themselves or insecure, or they're just like, how did this happen? What did I do wrong? And I feel like I just will say something just totally like as if nothing's wrong, because there is nothing wrong. And it feels like I've let them off the hook or something. And it's like, I finally talked. He's okay, and then I guess they feel okay about me being okay, and then they're okay, and it's very confusing. And I've never been good at it. And it might just all be in my imagination. But then all of a sudden, people are a little bit, more comfortable around me, and so again, it could just be me. And So anyway, that's far enough into the video, I think. I guess the other thing that's going on is recently, they've been letting some people go who have been up to no good, apparently. And they're people I've known for a while, and some of their behavior, it's not good. And I can understand that point of view. But there's this one person that was being let go of, nice way of saying it, today. And my shift was over, and I don't even know if they were, if I would have seen them, because if I were them, I wouldn't have, said goodbyes or anything. I would have been, frankly, if I were actually guilty of what they were being let go for, then I wouldn't want to see anybody. I would just want to get out of there and not see anybody and just go cry, probably. But it's just kind of sad. I mean, some of the people that have been let go for the same reasons, it's like, well, I didn't know them. And some of them I didn't like, because I felt that they spent too much time just working hard at trying to do as little work as possible, and mostly just treating work like a a social gathering, a social hangout to make friends and do as little work as possible and get paid. People like getting paid, not so much the activities that, that's that whole thing. But, okay. And the other thing I've been thinking about, so, it's like Mom died on February 27th, just this year. And, it's already been 6 months, over 6 months since she passed away. And I was thinking about how I feel about that, or how I don't feel about that, or how I should feel about that, or how, and I still haven't decided. And it's like, and I was thinking about missing her. And it's like, who do I miss? And why? Because she was in a lot of pain for a long time, those last couple years, and she was taken care of the best way that any of us could know how, given our understanding of the situation. I thought I didn't understand the situation. I guess I just didn't know how to ask the right questions, right? I didn't know the questions to ask, and I didn't read the signals. I didn't pick up on it. She just mostly just kept trying to, as far as I was concerned, trying to get me to move back there to, be a part of her life and to help with things and, the business. And I just didn't get the rest of it, because I'm fairly comfortable and satisfied with my life here, even though I'm not happy. I'm happier and that whole thing. I understand my life here. And moving back there, it would have required a lot of change. And it was change I wasn't willing to make, because I left there for a reason, lots of reasons. And to go back, it's like I left, and it's like I was worried that I would uproot myself from a life that I like well enough and go back to a place by myself with no, connections or, have history there. And then I would regret it. And then I would resent. And it wouldn't be good. And from my visits and from my phone calls, it's like I was okay with being at a distance, but But now that it's all said and done, and it's like I've just been kind of it doesn't go well. It doesn't do any good. It just hurts me, and it's because I'm just doing it by myself. I don't talk about it. That I could have done more. I could have said more, and it's like, or been available more, or because I didn't know that the last times I was talking to her would be the last times that I was talking to her. No one does, and that sort of thing. And it wasn't like a surprise. It was like so obvious but she just kept saying that she'd been to doctors, and I guess she was making it up, for whatever reason, to try to make things sound less bad. And her mental state was, I could tell even that, her just was deteriorating what felt like really quickly. And just the stories she would tell me, and she was like reliving memories from like 50 years ago, and she was just telling me because she wanted to share them. And to me, all I could do was listen, but then she would tell me the same stories from week to week. And I don't know, and she would get angry over her life at how it didn't go the way that she thought, and how people didn't treat her the way that she wanted. And she never forgave my father for his behavior and the divorce and everything around that, and how life was just hard. And I don't know. I guess I just haven't found a good way to be okay with that situation. And I guess that's healthy, maybe. And I know my brother and we don't talk about it. We didn't even really talk about it when it was actually going on. And it was just like, just taking care of business. Very cold and callous and distant, as though it was and that's how I felt. And I know we all do our things in the different ways, how we respond and how we feel and how we show it. And again, I'm trying to remember to be sensitive and considerate. But I sure could have used to talked about it more, and I know it's my responsibility to bring things up and to try to talk about it if I want to, if I need to. But then again, it's like, I don't know about those hurt feelings, and I don't know what that's about. So it's like, I don't want to bring up sensitive topics that might just lead to more hurt feelings over things I don't even know about. So it's like being available to talk if the other person wants to, but it's like, if it feels like I almost have to deal with it by myself, because other people don't want to talk about it because they don't know what's sensitive to me and what's safe to talk about. So I guess I don't have a good way to heal or to find closure. And it's like, it's up to me to figure it out on my own. So this could take a while. But I figure as long as I'm not doing any harm to anybody else about it or letting it bother me, it doesn't bother me on a day-to-day basis, but it's just something, because she had a birthday. It was her first birthday that she had missed. And, she'll miss from now on. And then coming up, I've got my birthday, and it'll be the first my birthday that she will have not been around for. And so I've just been thinking about these things. Holidays coming up, and I wasn't there for the holidays for the past, long time. I never went back there specifically for Thanksgiving or Christmas, things like that. I made my trips off holidays because I like to think that when's a good time to say this, when's a good time to visit them, or when's any time, any day. It doesn't don't need to wait for a specific day to let people you care or what you think of them. It's just waiting for some specific day or something to happen. It might be too late, or you might never get the chance, or something else happens and the mood changes, and then it's like, had I known then what I know now, then, but there's that hindsight, and it's like I don't ever have advanced knowledge, so it's like I like to, for my personal, if I can manage it, if I can find the words, which I can't always, just to let people know when it is relevant to the moment. Because moments come by and they don't come back. And I don't get them back. So moments get lost in time, and the time and place to say a thing or to do a thing. It's like, so I just try to, with some responsibility and respect, try to be more spontaneous and not worry so much over how it might look, or if I might do something out of turn, or something slightly taboo, or worrying over my own ego sort of thing. Don't want to look stupid, but I don't have much control over that a lot of times. I don't know how I look to the rest of the world, as I feel like I'm just kind of stumbling around trying to make my personal best sense of living life. So, yeah. So that was kind of like the big thing, I guess, that I've been wanting to talk about, but I wasn't able to kind of find any way to talk about it in the short form, because it would take a while, and most people would just be like, they don't know anything about it, and I can't give the backstory in a fast enough amount of time. And it's like people, the last thing I want is people, making comments about it, or asking questions about it, or giving thumbs downs about it. It's like, no, I think there's something to be said for just keeping some things private. And these long form videos feel to me as pretty much they are private, because very rarely do people watch all of it or a lot of it. So, especially this far in. There's a few. But for the most part, I still feel safe. But if I get too many more subscribers, and and I start to discover that more people might actually be watching these long form videos, then it might change my mood and how I feel, because I feel like I can talk freely at this point in a video. But if I actually start to think and remember that there's people watching, then that might change my attitude. And that's the thing I don't like, is that if I know I'm being observed, then I start to act like it. And I'm less natural, because I feel like I'm needing to be on and be entertaining, or be creative, or I don't know. I don't think that's a problem for me so much right now, at least, because I tend to forget. And these are all unscripted and unrehearsed, and if people are watching, then it's like, well, that's on them. Sorry, not sorry, sort of thing. And people are free to click away anytime they like, but I'm stuck here. It's like, I'm the only one that has to live with myself all the time. So this is one of my methods and outlets for, trying to not take myself so seriously, or to hear myself talk out loud, to see what it is that I'm thinking about and how I'm thinking about it. And I sometimes make discoveries along the way. It's like, these are my thoughts as I think them, and I don't even know what they are until I say them out loud. And I can hear how I say the words, and my hearing my own speech, I don't know, it speaks more than the words themselves. So, okay. So, and the other thing, less serious but important, to what I'm doing here, as far as the business of recovery, which is, it's, I use the word business very loosely because it's just an activity. The local, it's not really a clubhouse, but some people use that word. It's a umbrella term for a meeting place where different recovery groups get together in the same building, in the same room, on different nights of the week. They have different meeting names and different themes, if I want to use that word loosely. But they're anonymous meetings, and I won't say more than that. But a few of them have been struggling for attendance since they made a change in policy about providing signatures for attendees to show that they were there, as far as their might have some legal requirements to show where they were and things like that. But stop doing that, because it seemed like some of the meetings were just getting slightly overcrowded, and they were just like signature factories. And it was something for people to do that needed it, but a lot of people were just not really there for the right reasons, it was felt, and they were causing disruptions and not taking it seriously, or just playing around or socializing or on their phones, and noises, and it was interrupting and disturbing the meeting. So they just decided to stop providing signatures, and very quickly all those people disappeared. But then by that point, not many regular attendees were still going. It was almost like treated like a classroom, and the students had taken over, and all the teachers had left. And so by the time all this, so that's my way of. So anyway, 2 Saturdays ago, after hearing that they were having trouble on a couple of the days, I decided to take it upon myself to investigate the Saturday night meeting. And sure enough, I got there, and the building was closed, and no one was there. And so I opened it up, and I also had mentioned it to somebody else that that's what I was going to do, and they decided to join me so I wouldn't be by myself. And but a couple other people did show up that didn't even know that the meeting was having trouble, but they just saw in some paperwork that there was a meeting there, and they ended up there. And if we hadn't gone and opened up the building, they would have just found it locked, and I don't know if they would have, where they would have gone or what they would have done. Who knows? But anyway, so then yesterday I, again, but this time just by myself, went down, and it's still locked. No one else is showing up. The person that did volunteer to watch over that meeting has left it. And I don't know if they've gotten word that somebody else is kind of. I don't want it. I don't want to take it over or anything. I was just there to. I guess I'm now like an unofficial caretaker. But I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do about it. I think the meeting should continue, but I don't want to be the one that is going and taking care of it on a, I don't know. I haven't decided. It's only been 2 weeks of it, and we'll see what happens with that. More to come, I guess. I have more to say about it, but we're getting close to the time. Try to keep these to half an hour. For a person that doesn't talk much, I sure can go on for a while. But this is probably the only time I'll talk all day. So, anyway.